We're on.
It's become my favorite part.
Welcome.
We're all on.
We're all on. Are you on?
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
I think I'm on, yeah.
Are you on?
I'm on.
You on?
Yes, I'm here. I'm on.
Real quick. Cheers our kinky chai.
Cheers to the kinky chai.
Yay. All right, ladies. And
Hold
gentlemen.
on. You
Okay.
can't cheers and then not drink your drink. What the fuck?
Oh.
Were you guys raised in a...
It's still hot.
It's not that hot.
It's not that hot.
It's not.
You guys can't judge me. You guys can't judge me.
can't
It's still
judge
cool.
You need your coffee to be like room temperature.
My coffee must be at 96.4 degrees.
You guys are making fun of me, but I have a very sensitive mouth. And I think it's kind of a strength.
Hey, how is the superglue you put on your mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Before you came,
my
Jeannie, he
God.
got somehow got superglue on his
never-ending
fucking lips.
saga.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a never-ending saga with podcasts. And basically, when I'm trying to basically like put it together, there's always something I have to put together. Something's broken. Something
Like that
has fallen
microphone
apart.
that he's talking in
Right.
Wow.
broke as we were setting this up, and he had to superglue, tape, and zip tie.
Yeah. So like basically, I find myself having to like fix things all the time.
I mean, because you're like, you guys are just two people. Usually, like, you have like a whole crew doing
you.
those things so you can focus on this. But, you know, this
We're
is
just we're only men. We're not gods.
We're not God. We're not gods at
We're
all.
just human.
yeah.
We're trying. We're trying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so basically what happened was part of the mic had broke, and Scott always has a bunch of super glue, and I was like,
That's not
Scott,
true.
I need some super glue, and so we got it, and I'm like, just mind you, we're like rushing to get all this put together, and in my mind, I'm like, all right, I set it all up and everything, and I even turned to Scott, I'm like, Scott, I don't care if I get messy, right? I said something like that.
Yeah.
And right after I put everything set it, I grabbed a what is it, those cut chocolate things that I fed you, those chocolate
Yeah.
almond date things, and I stuck it in my mouth, and there's like a super glue that just coated my mouth, and thank God I missed my mustache.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm all right, but you know, not my best moments.
Oh. It's like chocolate with a side of super glue.
Yeah, so I guess I'll
Second
put different
skin.
things in my mouth. It has to be more close to room temperature.
Okay. Well, glad we got there.
Yes.
Always good to start our podcast off with absolute gibberish and bullshit.
I think it's kind of become our tradition, but definitely we might want to introduce who we have here.
I was gonna say, have you even welcomed them to our? Have you ever?
Oh,
we didn't
shit.
even. We haven't done anything. We haven't
We
done
haven't
a thing.
done anything. We always do this.
Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Welcome to the Monkey Brain
Podcast.
Welcome to the Monkey Brain podcast.
I'm Scott.
I'm Addie.
Who's this?
Hi, I'm Jeannie.
This is Jeannie.
Welcome, Jeannie.
Hey.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you guys.
It's nice to meet you too, man.
Yeah, we just
Go way
picked Jeannie
back.
off the street. She was walking by, and we are like, "Hey, you seem like someone cool to talk on a podcast."
Yeah. It was the Joker hair. Like, you look like somebody.
Right? And I was like, you
That's
know
it.
what? I think I'm going to be in a podcast today. So,
Yeah.
I feel like you woke up with that energy, and that's why you attract us.
Well, we know that's not true, and I don't want to put you on blast, but you are incredibly hungover.
I'm fine.
This is a non-judgment zone.
This is
I am a
judgment-free
normal human being
zone.
on a Saturday morning
she's a little hungover, and that's why we love
after
her.
Halloween weekend, you guys. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love her so much for taking the time to come and join us today. It's my fault. Jeannie hails from Brooklyn, up in
Hails.
Queens, and I had asked her to do this podcast maybe a month ago, not thinking about how this weekend is the weekend before Halloween, and people would be partying, and even we're like trying to like maybe get into something we're not really sure yet, but
But we're so lame that we didn't think like, oh, this is a activity weekend. This
yeah,
is
we were just like, oh my,
because we didn't go out last night.
no, not at all. And we were just like, oh my God, we want to get like our favorite people that we think are amazing on this podcast. And then we didn't think that they have lives. and are cooler than us.
Yeah.
They're
We're
cool.
just like, as soon as possible.
They're cooler than us. And that's why we want them on here, because all we do is sit in here and talk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now we have some flavor.
So now we have some flavor, and we really appreciate it. We hope you get invigorated by this kinky chai right here. And
I love it. It's so nice.
It makes you feel like comfortable in the Monkey Brain podcast.
I thought you were going somewhere way different with that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Don't make our guests feel uncomfortable, please.
Sorry, the trigger words.
I hope this drink makes you feel...
I mean, I'm getting a little sleepy, guys. I don't know.
Jesus.
I know.
That's not cool, because before we were recording, you're like, man, I could totally just like doze off right here. So
True.
like, I'm gonna
Okay,
joke about that, because if
should
you
I be
doze off,
concerned? Yeah.
that's not gonna look good for us.
Yeah.
Okay, there's cameras. You guys, someone will see.
They know your last location, anyways.
Well, consent's very important, even in anything, right? So it's like if you have to be like, I am about to sleep, shut my eyes. There has to be like, that means I'm off bounds. This vessel right here, off bounds.
Yeah.
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 And then if I wanted to tap you to wake you, what could I do? I'd have to text you to wake you up.
No, you just have to like yell.
Hey.
And then
Hey.
Just get right by your ear. We're on.
We're on. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Anyways,
Jini, how's Brooklyn?
Brooklyn is so far from here.
Do you have a specific piece of Brooklyn you live in as a newbie to the city?
I live
People
in
are always
Flatbush.
like, oh, I live in this. What is it, Flatbush?
No, I live in Flatbush now. I used to live in Bushwick like all the other kids do at one
So you're
point.
still in the bushes.
In Bushwick.
Yeah, you're still in.
No, I'm in Flatbush now. No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
how many bushes? So, ironically, like, it's funny. Half of our fan base right now has already developed in our homies in California.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in Cali, they don't come to New York, so they have no idea. And you're someone that's from Cali as well, so you kind of can contrast what like the New York experience is like. What is like Brooklyn to like everybody else in the United States? Because Brooklyn's its own thing.
It is. I mean, Brooklyn is its own thing. A lot of it is very like true to the stereotype of like a bunch of hipsters, cool kids, glasses and record players. But that is very true. You go to Williamsburg and it's exactly like that. But then you go to places like where I live now, Flatbush, which is families, a giant Caribbean community over there. They've been there for ages. You have actual houses there, which is like, Brooklyn's usually like buildings and apartments and yeah. So it's like a really homey place. There's good food. There's like culture there from different backgrounds and everything. And that's like, which is something that people don't like really see Brooklyn as, because now it's because Brooklyn's becoming like a city like LA. It's one of the stops that you make and everyone's there.
Where's the museum, the art museum that we go to for first Saturdays?
Brooklyn Museum. Yeah.
Is that near Flatbush?
It is. It's
Okay.
It's super close to Flatbush and Prospect Park, and that place is also like a good representation of Brooklyn with like the rich culture that it has.
Right.
And every first Saturday of the month, it's like free partying, free entry. They always have a DJ, and it's everywhere. And like the last time we went, like even after the museum shut down, we were all still partying outside.
Oh, I remember
That was
that.
so
Yeah.
much
There was like
fun.
the dance circles outside.
The dance,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
whole like
Some
the
dude
real
was
party
DJing still?
Yeah.
Oh, that was such
That's
a good
wild,
experience.
yeah.
That was the very first time I'd ever went there. And my only
Yeah.
second time to Brooklyn, my first time, tripping shrooms in Prospect Park.
Wow.
So those are the two times I've been to Brooklyn.
See?
But I remember that being really cool. I also remember you going to that, I don't remember, but you told us you went to that thing the other week and it was closed.
Yes. So I went. I think was it September? Yeah, last month.
It was the last one.
Last
Yeah.
month, I went there. I showed up, and I literally tried to open the door, and it was locked. And then I realized there's no one here. It's Saturday night. It's the first Saturday, and it turns out that they were, because it was in the same weekend of like I think Labor Day weekend.
Oh yeah, so no one's
So
gonna do that.
like
Everyone's out
I
of
guess
town.
Brooklyn can only have one big like thing going on, and it was Labor Day parade. So that's actually very big in Brooklyn in the like Caribbean Day parade. So everything was closed in preparation for that. And like people over there like prepare for months for the Labor Day parade. You
Really?
you see them out in like their the stilts or like whatever they do
Yeah,
during like the carnivals, like because they have basically carnival.
It's like Carnival, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're actually like in bright colors
Yeah.
still.
Wait,
It's like
Labor Day is
parading.
coinciding with this Caribbean.
Caribbean Day, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm still trying to like. I actually don't know why Labor Day is also Caribbean Day.
We're totally ignorant to it too.
No, yeah, it's
because
a
there's
very
not
new-
a large Caribbean population out in like the West Coast
Yeah.
the way it is here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so
And this is something I didn't know until I moved to Brooklyn.
right,
And
right.
it's so largely celebrated that I was like, wow, this like it's a whole other culture. And also just because of how I look, I went to Caribbean Day parade and someone handed me a flag from I think Guyana, and they were like,
Yeah,
"You're
yeah,
Guyanese,
you could
there
pass
you
this
go."
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
you could. Like, that's very true. And there'd be no mistake because you don't even know like what mix of like what ended up where sometimes.
No, and like it like even like because our cultures are also very like has gone all the way to like the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Caribbean as well. Like they have roti as well. They just do it differently. To them, roti is basically like we do it like separately, like naan or bread, and then we like have the
Right,
food. Whereas
right.
they make it like almost like a shawarma and
Yeah.
put everything inside.
No, like a lot of the back in the day when it was like the British colony and stuff, a lot of the people that they took specifically to Bengal area was like Nor Kali, Nor Shindi area. And so, I mean, obviously they took from other parts of India too, and that's why there's such a makeup in like the Caribbean and North South America and stuff. But yeah, so there is some like Bengali like heritage
Yeah.
up in there. It's just not necessarily, you can't see it, but you totally, because you know, one thing, Bengalis have like the best, biggest eyes, and you probably like, you know, I think that's like pops out in Caribbean, like when you're like Guyanese, and you have some of that Indian, South Asian bloodline and stuff. So
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's really cool to see like how these cultures have infused.
dude,
Yeah.
it's a big melting pot. It's such a mixing pot. Like I think, yeah, Caribbean culture is just really amazing and exciting. I wish I could explore more. Like I've only
Have you been to the Caribbean?
been to Puerto Rico. And I
haven't
don't
even
think
been there.
that like counts in that sense
It's
necessarily.
still
I mean, it's
Caribbean,
culture,
yeah.
but like, you know, it's also in some sense like been colonized by the Americans for so long.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But to me, like what was fascinating being in Puerto Rico, the reason I was there was to shoot something. And so I was there during one of their protests. And one thing that's really just you know, common bloodline through all over the place in the world you go with protests is like fucking, you know, the West has oppressed like minorities. And it's the same thing. What I loved about being in Puerto Rico is the protesting was like so musical, so soulful. Like it was literally dancing, music, same way like Carnival was. It was like as much a protest as it was like a parade in some sense.
That's
But it
cool.
like had a purpose to it. So it was, you know, as you know, appreciative as much as they're going through something and they're like fighting for something. I was appreciative to see like another culture pushing up against oppressor and how they do that, and it's really beautiful. So yeah, like Caribbean's a place we definitely must all go together and get
man.
crazy.
Yes. In fact, I mean, we need to have a group trip to Jamaica.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think
For
that's
obvious
unreasonable.
reasons, but yeah.
I think it's pretty doable, right? To get
So
to
doable.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
in New York City. Like those flights are like no brainers.
like $100 maybe.
Like, and we gotta pick a time when it's like, you know, like not like a heavy season, so then we can like really
Right.
easily like go. No one's gonna be there,
Yeah.
and like Airbnb, yeah,
yeah, we
That-
did an Airbnb house
yeah.
and
Because
stuff.
fuck, I don't want to stay in like a resort. I want
Not
to
about
like,
that.
no,
Yeah.
no.
I want to be in the neighborhoods and stuff.
Yeah.
Amongst the people.
Amongst the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, amongst the people mindfully. I heard Jamaica's pretty, like, you gotta be pretty vigilant. being out
Fuck,
there.
bro. I walk around here mindfully.
I know.
Not like it's a bad place. I just
No.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like remind myself that whenever I go anywhere, like not, because even if my intentions are not to come into a place like coming in like I own it, I still look like an outsider.
Right.
So, you know, like, you got to be, like, really mindful of that, too, as well.
When there's the American stereotype that's kind of...
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's all about them.
I feel like a lot of the places I've been, it's always having to break down that American stereotype.
Yeah.
How was it for you? So, like, I guess we could start, like, dipping into you a little bit. Like, one of the reasons why we definitely wanted you on, you, besides being one of our cool friends, is you're an amazing artist, and you have a crazy background, and you're also just amazing as a person, and your story is just crazy. So,
can I just ask where in I didn't know you were from California, or I forgot.
So I lived in Oakland for 1 year, and then I lived in like LA for 3-4 years.
As a
I was there for
older person?
I was there for college, and
Okay.
I just moved all over LA. Like I was in Burbank, NoHo,
Okay, cool.
Midtown.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, you were around NoHo.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to the Art Institute in NoHo for a sec. Yeah, on Lankershim.
Yeah. I used to be around there all the time.
Yeah. It became a
they
pretty
have
cool...
like really cool shows there, and I met like a couple kids from, like, I was having a show nearby, and then a couple kids from there came to my show, and then was like, you need to come see more of our stuff, and then like it kind of transferred. Like that's a great
cool.
like little art community over there,
Yeah.
and the kids there are like, because they're all like young artists that are so eager
They're
to
super
learn.
into
Yeah.
making this community of art. It's very cool.
And it's like, yeah, and it's growing now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I left right when it's starting to grow a little bit. I miss it a little bit. But
Yeah.
all right, sorry. Yeah, background though. Now that I know where and whence from California you came.
Yeah. No, so I grew up in Saudi Arabia. My family's Bangladeshi, and I've been in the U.S. now for almost 7 years. I moved here when I was like 17 for college. So I went from like Riyadh, Saudi Arabia to Oakland, California.
Compare and contrast.
I mean,
looking at you, if you were like, I'm from Saudi Arabia, you must get like the funniest reactions.
I mean, a lot of people don't know too much about Saudi, so like they're kind of like, okay, cool, but then they have like these questions about like what they see on the news, and I'm like, that's also very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Can I broach something that the first thing they'll probably think of is, did you look like this in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. So like I didn't when I was growing up, and then as soon as I moved here, like I was like, fuck it, I can do whatever. And then I do go back. My family still lives there, and it's like all eyes are there. Like no one has green hair. But like you get this, like it's not even just Saudi. Like I can go to
Do you have to
places-
cover up when you go? Like, do you have to wear hijab?
I have to wear a burqa. I don't have like some places where they have the religious police, the matawa. Like you already know that they're gonna be there, so you kind of carry a scarf around just to like have it. It's almost like it's really like treated as something that really keeps us safe, like almost like a shield. But
Wait.
you know when to.
Can you kind of like establish how it is? Like, so when you're like literally like what we hear is as a woman, you have to have a man with you wherever you go, right?
Yes. Or
Okay.
I mean, you're kind of crazy if you don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's a
then
risk.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does that mean if you're traveling without a man?
That means that you're you're open to like if other men know that you are alone without some other dude, that's like an actual danger. Like
Of what?
To getting like, because then like guys like everything is so segregated there. Guys never see girls. You go to a McDonald's and there's a female line and there's a family line where the guys can go with their wives, but then there's a strictly like and then there's a singles line just for men. So
Are they separated visually too, like with a partition?
yeah.
Wow.
There's a there's a partition and everything. So like really men do not really see women, and it's so for women like it's come to the point where it's actually unsafe for a woman to be out and about without a dude. But it's you know, baby steps. Like now like there are laws that are like, yeah, you can like go without it, you don't need permission, but from like a man to go out and travel or study. But at the same time, it's like the way they set this up is like you don't want to go to certain places without a dude.
So when you say permission though, does that mean that as a woman you're walking around the religious police can stop you.
Yes.
And they're like, hey, let me call your husband, father,
How do they
brother,
verify?
so on and so forth. Hey, did Jini get permission to come outside?
No, yeah. That's literally how it is. And
What the
also,
fuck?
let's
Wait,
say
they'll call?
you did something wrong or you're not covering up. They don't take you. They take the man that's with you to jail.
Oh.
Or whatever arrest or fine. They give it to the man. They don't give it to you.
Wait, so you don't get punished?
If you're with another man.
I mean, you still get punished in a way. You could if it's that severe, but the general thing is the first action is the man that's in charge of you.
So if you went out and did something wrong, then he bears the responsibility.
Yeah,
okay.
He's the one that
And then, let's say hypothetically, you're saying it's so dangerous for a woman out there, right? So what I'm trying to figure out is, if you go out, what are you at risk at having happen to you if you go by yourself? What do you feel you're at risk at having?
Literally kidnap, rape, all the worst.
And then,
but
my other side of it is because the reason why I asked this, obviously this is always a risk as a woman, right? But we're under the impression in Saudi Arabia that there's a death penalty for so many things,
Right.
and that
Stone you right there.
yeah, and stuff like that.
it's not stony right there, but
does that
public
deter a
executions
man
do
from
happen
doing
there.
something to a woman?
yeah. Or not all the time. It has to be super severe because people don't talk about it. It's the same issue everywhere else where people don't really report actual
so
crimes
these
or
things
anything
happen,
like that.
but they're not reported.
But if you actually get caught, get persecuted, and everything, there are public executions for rapists and offenders and murderers, and it's right before So usually they do it at a certain place, and you go in if you want to go see the public execution. But right before I left Saudi, they actually changed the rule to it doesn't happen at that place. It happens at your local neighborhood of the person that's getting executed. And I discovered this because I was coming back from school and there was mad traffic, cars weren't moving. And then I saw people in the highway, parking their cars and getting out of the cars to go off and see something. And it looked like a concert almost. But then if I saw really closely from far away, it was an execution.
Damn.
And we were there for 4 hours because nobody was moving.
Talk
Yo,
about making a statement. Coming to your fucking neighborhood.
yo,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone that you grew up around can see.
Yeah.
So I mean, realistically speaking, the reason why, and this is typical, we're familiar with this type of culture, right? Is where if a woman was to be raped, she bears the honor of the family, and so on and so forth. So if she was to report this rape, she would be considered damaged goods. Can't get married, so
or an
forth.
adulterer. Or
Adulterer
something,
brings
which is-
dishonor to the family.
No.
And maybe not everything's on her side if she was to tell this story
Which
too
is
as well.
why it doesn't get talked about, and
Right.
the people that do end up getting executed and everything. It's not just they rape one woman. It's they were kids, and it's a super severe thing.
Okay.
It's still severe, but
Yeah.
for that to happen, it has to be escalate. Just hurting a woman is not big enough.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
when Jini goes out, Jini is in a.
In a burqa, I have a scarf in case I need one.
So okay.
Yeah.
So the scarf though, that means when you go somewhere inside of a place, it's outside of home. If you go to
If I go to a public place like the mall, shopping.
so inside the mall, you take off your burqa.
No.
You keep it on.
Yeah, you keep
but
it on.
when you go into a store.
You still keep it on, and now they're starting to have this thing where it's only women's stores or only women's sections of the mall, and that's where you can take it off. But see, it's segregated, no men allowed, and that's where.
So
you
the
can.
only place your burqa doesn't need to be is your homegirl's place. Your place,
yeah,
basically.
but then Saudi is also very because there's a huge expat community there. I mean,
Right.
like my family, and they have compounds like Aramco.
Yeah.
And they have so many of those, and they're so big that it's you actually don't even need to so you're kind of controlled in like this
Right.
little like city, so it is like a bubble. Like I didn't like, yeah, I have to wear the burqa when I left to a public place for shopping, but I also grew up very much wearing like the things that I do now
Right.
in the compound. It was so easy to get alcohol and party. In fact, partying is even like worse over there because there's a stigma about it, so then people just go harder.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
So like
yeah.
that whole like this whole like American culture is there as well, and it's almost like a little more there because we see movies and then we kind of want to recreate that in our compounds.
I experienced that when I was in Bangladesh too, like the expat
Yeah.
community and the
Mm-hmm.
higher affluent community in Dhaka kicks it with the expats, and they all have that party chemistry
Yeah.
on the international clubs and all that, right? Yeah, that's crazy. But like, what about outside those areas? Like, if someone's intoxicated publicly or something like that, like there's a lot of risk, right?
They're so yeah. You don't do that. You don't.
But I mean, you're leaving like an international club, going home. Your driver, you better have like your driver.
Yeah, you
and,
have to have.
Like, you don't wanna
you
end
don't.
up
Yeah, nobody gets a taxi unless you're like in a group of people. Like no one gets a taxi
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
street.
yeah.
Are there
That's
female
like
taxis
asking
now?
to like be
Yeah.
kidnapped.
Are there female only taxis too now?
I don't know actually, because
Like,
this all
Ubers or
happened
whatever?
so recently
Yeah.
that I'm not. I think there are. I've seen it on the news, but like
That's
personally,
where I
when
saw it.
yeah, I see it
Yeah.
on the news. But then personally, because I have been to Saudi after they changed the laws with women driving, and I still did not see that many women driving.
Right.
I did not see like I saw a women's only parking lot with no cars in it.
Which is very telling. Very
Yeah.
telling. It's almost like, why even make the parking lot? Because it's highlighting the fact that women are not driving. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's also like convenient to like not, and
Is it easy to get around without driving?
yeah, because there's so many drivers. Everybody so it's and it's cheap. It's mad cheap too
Okay.
to like get a personal driver even.
Yeah.
That
It's like employment for a lot of people.
it is, yeah.
Right.
Or like over there, like a lot of jobs, like my mom's shop, like it comes with like help for the house and a driver. These are like mandatory, like necessary things that
It's
every
such a
family kind of
weird
has.
thing. Like outside of, I don't know how it is too much. I don't think it's in Europe like this anymore either. But like in other countries like that, you have like some sort of like help all the time, because there's like a lower class, not lower class, lower income
It's employment
community. Yeah, for them that's how the society justifies like employing them that way.
Yeah, I have a friend that visited me from South Africa in Brooklyn, and then he was like, so do you get someone to come clean your house, like a cleaning lady, like at some point? And I'm just like, I'm not rich. What the fuck?
Yeah,
It's like a cleaning
could
lady.
you imagine like if because we have so many laws here, like
Labor
laws
yeah.
and stuff like that, it doesn't pass. But it, as much as like domestic help gives people money, I guess, that probably wouldn't have a job and stuff, it also
it's still
gives like
screwing them over.
opportunity.
They're not unionized. They're getting underpaid.
Abuse,
And they're like it's so problematic. And in Saudi they have like, I think it's called the Khalifa law. Or, God, I'm forgetting the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically like modern day slavery where you can like you get help from wherever. Outsources a lot of the help over there is from Bangladesh or India, Philippines, and what they're like you have to have like a Saudi sponsor, your boss that brings you, and then like they keep your passport as soon as you get there, and then
That's scary.
you kind of like it's all like you hand everything over to them, so you're literally theirs now.
And that's like
And that is the
no
system.
thanks.
I mean, this
Yeah.
system is like really fascinating because it's a lot of like Arab countries that are employing like people from poor countries that way, and holding them against their own will with their passports.
Mm-hmm.
And they get stuck in these places. And that's the crazy part is like, so you're like from Saudi Arabia, this like what's known as the Mecca. It's Mecca.
It is, yeah.
Literally.
Of Islam, and so extremely conservative religious. And then you're like, obviously can tell that you didn't fall into that. Like you're cool, you're like open-minded, you're like creative.
I was very fortunate to have parents that were very progressive. I also like I had access to American television, so
Yeah.
like, because
American
growing up, like
toast.
before I like was too young to even like go out or anything, like, which over there is actually like for girls, like you don't really like start going out or anything until you're like 13. So like
What
most
is
of my
going out even? Like,
like just
Can
like
you
like
imagine?
literally like outside, even in your compound.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought
Like-
you were like partying. I was
No,
13
like
is
actually
young.
like hanging out.
no,
Like
I mean, like
you don't
actually
like
Yeah.
going outside. It's almost like you like get a cat, right? And you trust that it will come home after 2 years. Like, it's home and you can open the door and it goes in and out. Like, very sparingly it goes out, right?
yeah.
You sparingly go
And then
out.
you leave the food for them outside, and they come back.
Come back whenever.
Is that how you train them to come back?
now. But yeah, okay, so you like,
So, I mean, yeah, I was very like I watched like so a lot of my youth was just watching a lot of American movies, and that really helped, like, I guess open up my mind and have an open mind to other things.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
really,
yeah.
like I will give film and American movies that credit, especially for people like without that I would have been a different person because I wouldn't know what people outside of Saudi actually live like.
what were like the films that impacted you?
I was watching like Kill Bill.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not even like, Little Mermaid or like anything.
No.
So like, nah, Kill Bill.
Actually,
Kill
that's
Bill.
very representative of American. So, here's some ultra violence. Here's a little bit of cinematography.
Yeah, and it's a girl that just goes off and kills everyone.
Here's our love of martial arts. Yeah. It's got David Carradine in it, which we love to card out for ethnic reasons, for some reason.
He died.
We don't need to talk about that. Don't sully David Carradine's name. I
Okay.
loved watching him in Kung Fu: The Legend Continues
I
when I was
know,
growing
but
up
he
on TNT.
Wasn't he like a
Autoerotic
culture
asphyxiation.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 He
Look,
was like a culture vulture.
the
too,
dude
wasn't
knew what he liked.
He did know.
He knew what he liked, and he died doing what he loved. So that's
It's the best way to go.
yeah. I don't want to be found and then reported on.
I mean,
way.
but your dad, so
when
who
you're
cares?
a kid, though,
Please don't.
Okay, the benefit of being in the United States when you like see something is you're not stuck with this like wonder as like it's so far away the way you probably felt. Like if I watched a movie and saw some sort of wonder in it, like Hollywood, the United States, all that stuff, I'm in it, close to it, whatever. So proximity. But you're watching as a kid from like the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what is that?
It's like, because this was like, it's in a TV, so it's like you see this and like you kind of like, okay, maybe out there in America people live like this, doing like,
Yeah.
and to a degree it is true. And then like when I moved to America, I was like, I still feel like I'm in a movie,
Yeah.
like, because this is so different. Like, yeah, I didn't think that I would be able to, the fact that I'm hanging out with like two guys alone in their apartment was never a thing that I thought I could be doing.
You're such a
Scandalous.
baby. Oh my gosh. You're
And
so bad. If
yeah,
your mom knew.
I'm trying to be in a movie, okay? So
Does
it's
your
fine.
well, careful the kind of movie you're gonna end up in. we already joked way too much about this shit. Jeannie, have a seat in between us on this couch right here.
We always joke around that like, cause people don't see the apartment, but we have like open window and like all our neighbors can see into us, and we're always just setting up cameras and all shit like that.
Facing the couch.
Oh
Facing
my
the
god,
couch
they
and
must
everything.
think
So,
that
yeah.
there's like some porno being filmed here.
We're
She
just
said it.
casting.
Just
okay?
casting.
Just
casting.
It's just couch casting.
Yeah.
This is the most complex couch casting because I don't think anyone's ever done casting on a couch.
Yeah.
With
It
an
should be
ottoman.
like it should be like more than casting. It should be couch read.
Couch read.
This is a-
Auditions here, yeah.
This is a casting couch for the gangbang because there's
Yeah.
so many people that can fit around
Right,
it.
exactly, and it's a couch read.
If
At
King-
that point, you're already casted.
Yeah.
If you can get everyone together on the same page, all on the same couch, that's the gangbang. You guys are doing the script reading. You're orchestrating how this is going
Bro,
down.
this is the Camelot of gangbang couch castings. We're all equal. This is the round couch.
the round couch.
The round couch.
Everyone it's an equal opportunity gangbang.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so you want to end up in movies. Got it. No, that's cool. That I would never have thought of something like that. Where one of the things you just said was like, I didn't even expect to be in an apartment with two guys alone. Like,
Yeah.
as I'm talking to you, that makes sense. But dude, that's really like perspective.
Or even coming here alone and not having
the
to be
fact that I
harassed
got
for
here
coming
on
here.
my own, didn't have to call like
Jump on some public
dude
trams
to be like, or like depend on like my like someone to get here
Get
is
permission.
so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Get permission.
Get permission. Yeah, I didn't have to tell my parents I'm here. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious because are you gonna tell your parents you were a guest on a podcast? How involved are they in your life? Because I don't tell my parents shit.
That's a good question. It depends on what I
You
say.
So far,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
far,
like so far.
are we parent friendly?
So far.
So far, we
already
started
talked
to
about partying
veer
and
away
alcohol,
from-
and the first
And
thing you said
gangbangs?
was, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So no, my parents can never see this.
So that's a cool question, actually. Not if they're gonna watch, because I'd love your parents to be our fans, but your parents obviously like how do they feel being there? Like, they're Bangladeshi, they're not Saudi.
They're still there.
I call
They're
them
still there?
every day. Huh?
Sorry, they're still there.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
still in Saudi. Yeah, I call them every day, and at first it was annoying, but now it gets to the point where I get a little like annoyed if I don't hear from them. You know, like we stay very close. Like that's always gonna be there, but and honestly, thank God for I don't know what it would have been like if we didn't have FaceTime. Like my mom didn't even she literally got an iPhone just so she could FaceTime me after I went to college. Like yeah, she didn't even care about any of that before.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So you come for college, and what do you end up studying at college? We know, but
I don't know.
oh, you
I don't know shit about Jini.
I know a lot about her.
I know nothing about her.
We
Yeah.
actually had our friend-iversary not too long ago.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah?
little over a year now, and we're still friends. I mean, like, look.
Yeah.
This
I like
is
how you
great.
said that. A little over a year, and we're still friends.
We're still friends.
Can't
I'm
believe
not
it.
gonna lie, I hate people. I don't stay friends with people for that long unless you're cool.
Aw.
So yeah.
Me too. We're both cats, though. That's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about this. We're like low maintenance friends, you know.
Essentially, we're cats.
But yeah, so college, idea was always for me to go to college in the U.S. and I was always into art, but that really wasn't a thing that Bangladeshi parents are into, or like a lot of parents, like just parents in
Most
general.
parents,
Art is not
yeah.
a thing. And I told I started off college as an architect major. Yeah. Because it was like, it's artsy. I like, I can do crafty things.
It's a good compromise for like the parents if that's what you were going
Yeah,
for.
that's what I was going
Okay.
for. And I was actually all about it until I started it. And I was like, this is architorture.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
there's no
Oh, that was good. That was really good.
no sleep. Nothing is horrible. It's not like, it's as artsy as it seems. It's actually not. That's when I truly realized that there's a difference between design and art. And I'm like, this is not for me. And then I did shrooms for the first time. And I was like, fuck, I need to just keep painting like I was. And I switched my major, didn't tell my parents until like a year later.
What
Another.
did you switch it to?
Yeah, I switched it to fine arts. And I didn't tell them, but at that point, by the time they found out, they're like, "You're an only child. We love you anyways." I mean,
Aw.
they still talk. They're like, "You should." Like every time I complain about money or anything,
course.
they're like, "Well, you should have stayed in architorture." Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're pretty supportive of it.
They are. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did they have no choice. They have to be. I'm their only child. I kind of
Yeah,
bully
yeah.
them into this is one thing that
Yeah.
a lot of other I feel like a lot of Southeast Asian kids or just Desi kids don't have is to because our parents bully us so much into doing things that you need to dish it back to them, and that's how you if they're gonna raise us like this, you need to do that with them too. And that's kind of how I gained my compromise. That's how my parents and I are still learning from each other.
You're so smart that you hit that on the head. Because when you grow up with siblings, right?
It's
One sibling gets it, the other doesn't, and each one kind of feels a little different about it. And I was the one that was wanting to push at my parents. At the same time, I kind of was emotional with their response to what I did, but it never stopped me. My sister was more of the I want to make them happy. I'm going to be the perfect brown kid. And then my brother was I'm just going to push back at them and not give a fuck. And he probably got the most leeway and got away with the most. And so like, I feel like you're right. Like it's a song and dance no matter what. And they just want the melodrama.
Well, and with the siblings too, especially with Mickey, there was a lot of time that passed, right? But then they had Mickey, so it's like totally different. With the only child, that's it. Like everything is like, okay, well, we're leveling and progressing at the same time. They can learn from Addie as a firstborn. They can learn from Ollie as a secondborn.
You guys paved the way for your brother, and that's
but you just went and did it.
Well, because
you're paving your own jungle.
You paved your own way.
You're just hacking away.
Yeah, you just like with a machete through the jungle.
Serious.
Well, I mean, honestly, it helps being an only child and being brave enough to do that. Because I know if I had one sibling, I would not be brave enough, especially if I was the oldest too. And then I would be very mad at like my younger sibling for like getting everything that I had to fight for. You were the dumb
one, and the other one got. No,
you would be the dumb one,
or the black sheep.
I would,
I would.
I'm the dumb one. Yeah.
I'm still the dumb one, and I'm the only one. Yeah.
I'm the smartest. I'm the dumbest. I'm the most loved. I'm the most hated. The alpha, the omega. That's so funny. So you're like, you come here, you're doing your art, and you do shrooms. You find out that art is your thing,
Mm-hmm.
and what is it like? What about art? Like where is it? Like this is the journey I'm taking. Like, cause you have a style too. Like you're just like, how does that come together?
So.
Didn't mean to stump you about your life.
That's a broad fucking question, bro.
Didn't mean to stump you about your life, but you know, obviously you got something.
Yeah.
You're on it. Like you're in this trajectory. Like where does that come together in college or?
It's kind of a build up because. Like I said, when I didn't go out as much as a kid, so like I did just like, and I hate empty walls, so I would just like start doing crafts and paintings just to like have on walls.
Sorry,
there were a
Sorry
lot
about
of
our
like,
walls.
No, you have a projector, so it's fine. But like, and I also like was in love with my cat, so I would just paint like cats and pets all the time, and that kind of carried on till now. Like like I'm like. Eventually, like it was just a thing that I was like doing as a kid, but then I find myself in college, in grad school, creating a religion called Meowism and painting a bunch of cats and
repeat what you just said.
Yes.
Say that louder into me. What?
I created a religion called Meowism. I made pamphlets. Yeah, okay. I made pamphlets preaching about the teachings of Meowism. It was decorated with a lot of cat paintings that I did. I built like a meow altar. Also, every Christmas, I started getting a cat tree and making a cat mystery. So I like decorated the cat tree like a Christmas tree.
Keep going. I'm loving everything you're saying to me.
But yeah, so like like I kind of just like embraced all the things that like I enjoy in life.
You've always been a creative person. Creativity has been oozing out of every pore of your body since you were little, right?
It's
just a creative person.
I don't know. I'm just a person. I just like,
No. You hate blank walls. You got to draw and decorate the walls. You created a cat religion. Not just a cat religion. A fucking evangelical cat religion.
No, but this is Jini's secret. This is what makes Jini so amazing.
She's always
Jini's just like a flow of energy. No, like seriously. Like that's what makes like when me and Jini kick it, like we like that time we went to the botanical garden, we were at the park and stuff, like she's just got this flowing imagination. And I don't think in her head she knows, like
that's
us, we're like,
her whole life.
We wish we could be like creative like that, have an imagination like that. Like we're seeing you like, oh, we wish we could obtain that, but you're just being it. But, like, and when you're being something, you can't address.
That's like, I see that in you guys too. There's a reason why, like, we are friends and hanging out, and you guys are also doing it. Like, look at you guys. You guys are making a podcast together.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Like, you guys have
I
this
wasn't fetching for that, but I'll take it. But yeah, like you do. You just have that's what I mean by like, so I think Scott kind of pinpointed it. Like you've just always, you're in your Maoism, You're in your like Jiniism. You've just like your way of life has always just like been to be, and that's really cool. So
yeah.
with Maoism, so you're doing this Maoism thing.
Yeah, Meowism. So, I mean,
I keep calling it Mao because
Mao.
like
in
Yeah,
Bangla,
'cause
Ooh,
that's
what's
an
a
animal.
Maoism?
in Bangla, no, in Bangla it's Gao is bark and Mao is Mao.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's universally around Bangladesh, but I know this.
Yeah.
So I've always like kind of been like
Mao.
Maoism.
Yeah. I mean, because
Wait, first.
Yeah, wait, what?
Can we convert?
Of course.
What's the tithing?
Like right now?
Hold on. No,
Right
no.
now?
What's tithing like? Are there levels? Do I need to pay every single level?
It's not a cult. You
Do
just
I
have,
have
to
to
love
show
cats.
my butt?
Okay.
Do I have to show my
Okay,
butthole?
people would say, but
Do we get butthole jewels?
Oh my god, no.
okay.
Yeah. I
No.
mean, you guys are, if you want to be a Meowist, you can.
What is it?
I
Okay,
think
no,
you
no.
kinda-
But
yeah.
what is like? What's the base requirements for a Meowist?
You
Accept cats into our heart, or what?
No, you have to be the kind of person that like sees a cat and like automatically just like, gives it extra attention
Okay.
and just, like be a cat person, How can you like have any bad thoughts when you're around a cat?
When I see a cat,
You
my
know?
first instinct is to rub my head into its head.
Damn
like
it,
that.
Scott just touched the mic.
I did that on purpose, motherfucker. I didn't touch a button though, did I? No hands.
Oh my god.
I wanted the sensory experience to really
The ASMR.
our audience.
Did
Brush
you
the
hear
cat
it? Really nice.
Huh? That was my beard. This is my beard.
Yeah.
What are we all? See, we're all Meowists. We're all just like.
We're all just like
For all the listeners that are listening
Oh,
to
yeah.
us on our audio platforms, we're all
That was a good
without
2-3
cue
seconds.
started rubbing our faces on our microphones.
Well, part of it. So we got these mic covers too that are like kind of soft and foamy,
Oh,
so
my
that I
God.
don't pop my B's and my P's. But we
Yeah.
kind of just started rubbing them, and you know how cats be.
I just got so lost.
See, we're already Meowists.
We're
Look at me
Meowists?
now.
Yeah.
It starts with cats and then we end up just here. Yeah.
So you're doing your paintings, this Meowism series, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So like now I consider like I always painted cats, and like when I went to grad school, they're like, you need to make sense of it, and that's how I came up with Meowism.
I love the fact that you live a life with so much passion and love for cats, because I feel you on that. And you could go to grad school, so it's like, all right, let's organize that. Like,
Yeah.
let's put your catness.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's a thing, like
Direct
you know,
this.
like
It is a
like
thing.
yeah, it is a thing, and
everybody it's a
before,
thing.
No, yeah, before I was just like whatever, I didn't really care about it, but they're like, really, you should address the fact of like why you're so obsessed with cats. It was really more of like an intervention, and then I was like, okay, I guess.
It backfired on them. Fucking joke's on you.
They're like, you could get an education here, figure out your anamorphic tendencies while you're at it.
I would have loved it if the conversation was like, he's like, we need to talk about this Meowism, and you're just like,
Yeah!
fucking stare at him.
That would be so great. Just knock things off his desk.
And then get up and walk off with that cat butt tail, the Rogan cat butt.
So you're making sense of your
So-
catness.
Yes, yeah, I'm making sense of my obsession with cats.
That's cool. Okay, I've got a question that is along this line. I've been dying to ask.
What?
I can't wait to talk about this with you. The dicks.
Ooh,
Tell me about the dicks.
Um,
So you all know a lot of Jini's art, very phallic. A lot of penises and a lot of cats. I imagine the cats came first and the penises came after.
But there
Yes.
is there an interrelation?
Please draw that line.
that's another that's something I haven't thought about yet.
Because pussies and
No, really, I feel like subconsciously I'm just thinking about sex.
yeah, which is
It's
fine.
not even subconsciously at this point.
At this point, it's really in your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because like we were actually just talking about this today, like on my IG account, you know, I'm always putting up exotic art and everything, and people would be hitting me up and they'd be like, why are you always doing that? I'm like, because I'm trying to normalize it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the way I feel. I think it's beautiful. I don't think there should be any restriction. And that is so important, because I know other artists that are so hesitant to put their work up and they do exotic art, but they don't want to be rejected by a community, or they feel like they're doing something taboo.
Which is like a legit fear, but at the same time, I think it should be normalized. And also, when you think about it, like our ancestors, where we come from, like they weren't this conservative.
No.
Like,
Right.
no, we come from a culture that's very romantic, very sexy. We come from like poets and artists as well, and somewhere in the middle that got lost, and then we ended up with like parents and families that are more like work than art oriented.
Right.
But then really though, our history is within the arts, and we really should bring it back, talk about it more poetry, more sex, more love.
Right.
And it's coming back, and we need to like embrace that as well.
Yeah. No, I believe 100%.
Yeah, we need people like you to do that, for
Yeah.
people like me who, well, listen to the last episode. We know how people like me are.
Yeah.
But we need you guys to make it fucking positive and not so, what's the word I'm looking for? Stigmatized. That's the word.
Stigmatized is a word.
Yes.
Yeah, I think stigmatized is a big thing. Like for us, I feel like you're just a free spirit though. Like your taboo doesn't come into your head as much.
But was it always that way?
Huh?
No, because I
For
mean,
her.
like, I grew up with everybody telling me everything is taboo.
Yeah, like she's had this like epiphany very early on to just
from a very young age, they were like, this is wrong, that is wrong, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, okay, let me try and do this. I was aspiring to grow up and like wear a hijab, pray 5 times a day. But then I see myself enjoying these other things in life that is supposed to be taboo. And I'm just like, if I'm gonna live, like, no, this is like, why is this taboo? I don't believe that religion is about restricting you from these things that naturally happen as humans. And I feel like something got lost in the middle, but I was like, you know, I'm just as much as Muslim, Islam, religious, even if I'm like enjoying my life, dressing the way I do, drinking beer, whatever, you know?
Right. You're not
like,
less
I don't
in
believe
any
like
aspect.
taboo is, it just, I don't know, what am I trying to say?
I think what you're trying to say is that like it's a beautiful thing that was lost touch with in conservative culture.
Yes.
Like, and I think where people like you and me, we're not responding to the conservativeness or that strictness we were raised in. We found like solace in like, I think the beauty, like Bengali culture, like she says, is very beautiful. It's animistic. It's spiritual. There's poetry. Like it's creative, and creative people have sex. They fuck. They make love.
Yeah.
They do all these great things. And that's why like, I think like we have such a colorful culture. Everything about it is actually very beautiful and sexual, but we in this day and age are trying to like suppress it. Yeah.
No, yeah, we come from
It's
a place that's just like, we embrace ourselves, we embrace these things that we enjoy. There's nothing taboo about it. Yeah? Like, you know, unless we're like trying to like go and harm others, which is like not in our, like,
No.
you know.
It's so funny to me because as a kid, and maybe I understand why there's this like extreme to like put on hijabs and like, by the way, I love your pants.
Oh, shit. Thanks, man. I love your socks. I've been admiring them.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Do I need to... That?
Yeah, we gotta get that camera. But basically, we have these beautiful outfits, like the shari, for instance, which like before the British came, it's right on the top. Oh, I could get it for you, Scott. Okay, I'll get it for you.
You should probably double check that, huh?
Yeah. So basically, you have a culture like, I was really into sharis like last year when I was back in Bangladesh, and learning how before the British came, no one ever wore blouses.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I feel like as much as there was Islam back in, like, let's just say like Bangladesh, it had came in the form of Sufism and folky or Baalism, stuff like that, like very spiritual, animistic. And I feel like the British brought over this like Christian conservatism and shamefulness to like sex and all that.
Colonization, even like the actual like laws like against let's say like gay rights.
Right.
Like that specific law was not even there until the British came and set it up.
Right.
Yeah, like before that, like gender fluidity was a thing in our culture.
Hijra, like is maybe what is most familiar for people about India's transgender community, like the parallel we could say, like, yeah, they were considered to be spiritual, they were mystics, they could there's all these great like powers that are embedded in them, culturally we used to believe, and then it changed after that, and that's like crazy. Like,
yeah, like all this discrimination started, it came with colonization.
Yeah.
It's not something that's ours. So for us to really like grow out of that and embrace just all the things that our ancestors truly did before, that's like, we're decolonizing in our own way. Yeah.
So how did you transition from Meowism into dick pictures?
Oh yeah.
I take it so I can check the camera.
So I wanted to start I was told that some of my paintings, like abstract ones, looked very phallic. Okay. And without really thinking, and I was like, okay, maybe I am but like I find penises beautiful too, and they come in like they all look so different, so crazy. And I thought about like how you look at paint, there's so many ass and titties out there, and I'm like, why are there no dicks out there? And also like you see all these men that are like talking about I had like displaying all the tits that they've like seen, been with, painting this, that, like that. I'm just like, if men can talk about their sexuality like that, why can I not?
Yeah.
Or women?
Yeah.
And I know this already happened in like the 60s, but I feel like we are going through like another sexual revolution.
I feel like this past year was the millennial summer of '69.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, really. And it's like, like people like complain about like hookup culture, and it has like such a negative stigma to it as well. But at the same time, I'm just like, as women now, if we're going out dating, doing this, why can we not embrace it and talk about it too? So I decided to paint all the dicks that I know. Yeah.
So are the dicks you're painting ones you've seen, amalgamations of stuff, or are you just like, I want to create a dick
they
represent looks like this today, and it's just something?
No, they're so like I have like I work a lot with like surrealism is within my style, and there's more than, it's not just a dick. This was an experience.
Right.
So each painting is supposed, like, the dick is in it in whatever way that I want to show it, but it's supposed to represent the time that I spent with this. It's not just like a display of here's this, this, and this. It's like these are capturing moments that I had with these dicks.
I like that. I wish we had something here that we could, because I want you to go through like, hey, I did this way because I was feeling like 10 feet tall, and I could conquer the world and something, like it's I don't know why I just picked up like you as a King Kong and you're climbing up this skyscraper shaped dick, and it's, you know what I mean, or like Rampage, and you're,
oh my god.
I'm sorry I went off on that. I don't know. Sorry, I'm back.
That's making me think of like future paintings now.
Okay.
Me climbing a giant dick.
You gotta experience the giant dick to do that. Yeah. You need your muse.
I have many
muses. Can you use that word?
Muse?
Plenty.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that word muse is like it's still gender specific in the dictionary.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
I've never thought of that as a gender specific word.
For a woman, it's a woman.
I don't even consider it a
in old text.
a personified word.
A woman.
Yeah, I mean, I get how they used to use
Yeah.
it, but I don't even think like human muse.
And
has
we need
be
to
a person.
cancel that word now to be politically correct. No. I just happened to come across it, and I remember having that. I was like, oh. But, like, muse to me is like cats are muses.
Yeah, anything can be a muse.
Like, I agree. Cats are muses.
Cats are the ultimate muse.
They're the muse.
They're the meows.
The meows.
Oh my god.
So, this has been another series, and you kind of like try to tackle, like, do you ever get bad feedback from those paintings, or
Yeah.
like in the sense of like this, like cancel, I guess, like they want to, like they're upset that you would do something like that.
Yeah, no, the feedback is mixed. Like, there are people that are like, I had one roommate that would literally like I put it up in our living room and he took it down without even asking me.
Oh my god.
And he was like, we can't have, like, what if kids come? We can't see a dick in the house. And
What
I was
if
just like,
kids
you have
come?
weed
Wait,
on the table. What if
the
kids
fuck
come
kid-
and smoke your weed?
What
Like,
kids do you have?
yeah, and also like what kids come to our house? Yeah.
That's a weird. What a weird thing.
Yeah, no, that happened, and then also I've had like several women come to me and be like, do you really want to like represent a woman's sexuality like this? And I'm like, well, why not? There's so many women that are into dick. Like, why are we not talking about it? Why do we have to be all shy and like behind closed doors? Like, you know?
Yeah.
And another response is getting dick pics from men without me asking, just because they're like, oh, well, hey,
She's
here's,
into dicks. She's gonna want to see this.
yeah, exactly.
I
It's
got
like,
something
hey,
to show
ideas
her.
for your next painting. Yeah. Or like I've had people like hit me up in my DMs and they're like I have this one painting with like several dicks in it and they're like, that big one is mine. And I'm like,
Okay.
A
Yeah.
bouquet of dicks.
Yeah. Good thing you're a surrealist. Frankly, fucking guy.
Oh my god.
I can't.
I mean,
I'm glad I don't have to tolerate with the.
Yeah, yeah. I
Are
mean-
these people you know?
not necessarily. Some are, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like and then some, like there's strangers and there's like actual people, and that's also like that's something that really opened my eyes. That there are these guys that I'm friends with that I didn't know were this creepy until I started showing dicks, and
Yeah.
they thought, okay, I guess I can show you mine. Like, no.
Caught in the thirst trap, which is not even a thirst trap. They thought it was, and their true colors are
I kind
shown.
of feel like supreme for that. Like you're like, that's how basic you are. That like this is like actually like an artistic endeavor, and then they're just like,
Oh, it's an
oh,
invitation.
she must be so like that's how
Maybe
they
she
can't
wants my
think
dick.
constructively. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like this is
like
you know,
she
like,
must
when
want my dick.
and, like, the-
She must be so horny.
Right?
You know, like
Yeah,
How are you thinking
I'm
of
the cure.
Like, some men can only just, like, turn the conversation back to them. Like, you see so many, like, pictures and paintings of women nude. How many girls are just like, those tits are mine? You know?
Let me show you some tits. Like, you think that's labia? Watch this. And I was just like,
It's not like a labia measuring game or
No.
titty measuring game.
imagine.
Yeah.
But I'm sure like that's good. That's gonna come with the game. But then at the same time, I'm sure you must get some really cool like feedback as well.
Yes. And, like, from, like, a lot of, like, girls, too, that are just, like, also, like, I see these girls and then they see all these dicks and just me talking about it, and then like they kind of get into like, yeah, well, you know, I did this, I did that, and like just open about their sexuality too, which is, sorry, I'm too far. Wow, I can hear myself better now. Sorry, I was moving too far. But no, I see it helping like a lot of other girls be like down with their sexuality the more we talk about it, and also men too. Like, I see a lot of boys that are like starting to understand that girls also have a sex life of their own
Right.
too, and I feel like this kind of work is like important for just guys and girls to see, like, all like sexuality comes differently for so many people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like everyone does it their own way. It's very different, but we should all like talk about it so we all like learn each other's love language and
not false expectations. I think what happens right now when sex is not normalized, it's not discussed, it's not looked at it as being something good, is that everyone's isolated in their feelings about sex. And it's not, I mean, I'm all about self-pleasure, masturbation, all that stuff, and you should have that with yourself. But when it comes to sex with other people, that is the most communication you need to have.
Yes.
And that in itself is a very fascinating thing, because you could be having sex and not even be connected with yourself, be having sex with other people. And I think that's where like there's a what would you say? It becomes unbalanced. It becomes not fulfilling.
Again, see last podcast.
Yeah.
See
and
last
so
episode.
And I think there is something very cathartic or therapeutic by creating art like this as well, or like, even being appreciative of that evolution of how you see sex, because you're learning about yourself. You know your thresholds, you know your comfort levels, you know your openness, you know how to see that. You actually, by showing that you, through the dick pictures that you paint, you're appreciating. Like the biggest thing is appreciating the moment, gratitude for those moments, exploring yourself, learning in those moments, all those things. And people forget because they have so much anxiety about it, because they feel it's so taboo, it's so wrong. But this is supposed to be the most enlightening, uplifting moments. Like your brain chemistry is the closest it gets to like refreshing, like from death, is when you have an orgasm.
Yeah, or like I watched this documentary the other day, and they were like, the way that your brain is when you orgasm is literally like the only other way your brain can do that is if you're having a seizure.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's the level. Like these are very intimate, valuable moments in your life that, if we're gonna like not talk about it as a daily part of our existence, then it's lacking, then it's harmful.
I mean, this is me going on my soapbox a little bit, but that's why I'm really like so particular about everything goes into affects everything, right? Like, let's say your body chemistry is a certain way because of everything you put in it. Then the energy around, the people you interact with, all those things. And then the person that you're intimate with and you have sex with, right? Like your orgasms will be different type of orgasms as well. And so like what you're doing is you're cultivating your energy into a place where you can have the orgasms you want to have, the moments you want to have, and you want to connect with the people that have that. And I feel like everybody has that opportunity to have those feelings and moments. It's about being open, communicative, people being open, communicative with themselves as well. And that is the hardest thing. So that's why I go back to like, it's amazing when you do art like that, because you're normalizing something that really needs to be normalized for everybody. And it's such a courageous thing to do, but at the same time, I'm sure it's so rewarding, not only for yourself, but as you know, for everybody else that actually sees what you're trying to get at.
No, thank you. And yeah, it is. It's rewarding. It's hard. Like I try not to think about it too much, then I feel like it's going to kind of like fuck it up, but it's very rewarding. It's very it is what it is, like I feel
How's
like we
Uncle
all...
and Auntie feel about it?
Huh?
How's your parents feel about it?
Oh, I hide all the paintings when they come to my house.
Oh, they don't see your Instagram?
No.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, that's cool.
Absolutely not. I have like the biggest block list on Facebook, so they don't know that, and they know I have an Instagram, but they don't have Instagram, so they can't really like see it. Like, no, yeah, Instagram is like a family safe, like free place for me. No censorship. Yeah, like like so most people on social media try and like have some sort of censorship for themselves, or like like change things up. But for me, like social media is the one place where my family cannot find me, so I'm like out there. All videos, all everything, no censoring, all public, because I doubt my parents are going to come across any of this, And it's a place that, like, I can't do this in front of them or in front of, like, a lot of people. So, like, social media is a very free place for me. I really embrace it as, like, the place where I can really be myself and no fucks given.
Yeah. Have you gotten to, like, do you have you must know a lot of artists that kind of, like, have that same genre of art you do, right? Like, do you hang out with other artists that are like
Are there a
trying
group
to
of
approach
dick painters that you get
dick
together?
painters?
I personally don't
Not
know.
people that. I mean, you might know people that paint dicks,
Yeah.
but also painting dicks. Wait,
Paint with
What?
their
which
dicks?
is, or paint with the
Or
dick painters could be. It's like a triple entendre.
Like they're like dudes
Painting with your
who
dicks,
are
painting
Painting
with
painting
their
dicks,
dick?
painting
but they're also
dicks.
pleasant.
No,
Like they're assholes.
do you know you could know a big community of dick painters?
I don't know too many other I don't know other artists that are into as dicks as I am personally. I know they're out there. I just haven't met anyone else. I tend to also when it comes to my artist friends, I like other mediums that I don't do. So I like I'm friends with a lot of performance artists, and their work is very sexual too. It's a different medium. It's like one of my best friends, an awesome artist, Issa. She's a performance artist, and she does a lot of hardcore feminist performances. This really cool one that she did 2 years ago was is very raw and very people had a lot to say about it after.
Ooh, yeah.
So she did. It's called the Red Hood Project.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's Little Red Riding Hood. She dresses up as Little Red Riding Hood, and then she goes into a room filled with these balloons with the wolf on it, and she goes and she hacks it down, and the balloons, the face. So the wolf is supposed to represent, or the Little Red Riding Hood itself is actually a story about pedophilia deep down.
Right.
And my friend Issa was molested as a kid, and she knows the face of the dude. She knows, so she printed his face as the wolf in those balloons. Ooh. And then she dressed up as Little Red Riding Hood, and then she popped every single one of those balloons, and it was so painful to watch, painful to hear, painful for her to just see her talk about as well. God. But so I'm friends with a lot of artists that are also dealing with a lot of heavy things as well. And that's
the blessing of art.
It's
to help you deal with some of that shit.
Really, and that's what it is. I mean, it's therapy. We all have our own version of this, Yeah. Yeah, and we're all kind of dealing with these things, and we choose our own medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So art is kind of your way of dealing with a lot of things, right?
Yeah, and it's my way of I'm the worst person at talking about my issues. I'll paint about it and then still not talk about it, and that's better for me. Yeah.
At least you're getting some out though, a little bit
It's I also feel we should have charge of our we should be the ones to decide how we treat our trauma. Whether it's talking about it, painting about it, going to therapy, whatever you want. But there's a whole stigma again about no, if you have these issues, you need to go see a counselor or take a bunch of drugs, this and that. And it's why though? Or you need to at least talk about it. And it's do you really though? It's, you deal with, you know yourself better than anyone else. So you know what to do. You'll know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think some people just don't always trust themselves, though. Where do you find that in yourself?
I mean, I have more distrust towards other people, so I trust myself more. Yeah.
Pew, pew.
Safe. Yeah. Cat's coming out.
Yeah. No, that's very cat. You have two of the most gorgeous cats ever.
I know, they're the best. Frida, Catlo, and Coffee.
What type of cats are they?
So, I don't know. They're all mutts. Frida, Coffee is a calico. Frida is a weird raccoon mix. She really looks like a raccoon.
They're both just they both look like whatchamacallit bars. They just all kinds of flavors to them, I would say. I don't know. That's how I
don't
see
know what
them.
the fuck that
I know.
analogy
Maybe
was,
that's a very bad painted picture.
No,
how would you describe them?
Yeah.
I don't even remember what they look like. I've met them once.
They were
Rude.
memorable.
It's not my fault.
Whoa.
They've never come to see me.
You might want to rebuke his Meowism membership.
Yeah.
Once you see a cat, you can't forget.
That's not fair. I love cats, and you know that.
I love cats. You know that. I have a lot of
You guys
cat
need to get
friends.
a cat. Look, you guys have a guest room. You guys can put the cat.
That's
I
not the
know,
goddamn
but-
cat room.
A cat room? No,
ma'am.
no. Yeah. No,
No.
what's going on is I think I might have recently become allergic to cats, though.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, you gain immunity. I'm.
No.
No. Everybody
no.
says that to me, but what happened was since I've had my deviated septum fixed, we were watching Lonnie's cats, and he's already kind of allergic to certain animals and cats, and I never was allergic before. Like I had even stayed like with them before. You remember I cat sat them before. This time, dude, we were both there for 15 minutes. We were done. Our eyes
Noses
were watering.
dripping, eyes itchy.
We like literally were almost sick until the next day.
What?
Yeah,
We're
and
like washing our faces.
yeah, we had to come back. We were like washing our faces. It was like we had a chemical like spill or something. It was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. We're like looking at each other like,
is
what?
terrible.
We just love the cats. Like we were just like, they're so cute and
Oh, yeah.
adorable and
And
everything.
next day, we were like, hey. You know, I mean, like, we didn't stop. Don't get me wrong, but we washed off after that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
but
was
you know what
just-
this means though?
Yeah.
Hairless cat.
Ew. No.
Could you imagine
They're
like
so
Rude.
cute.
You're rude. Don't judge my preferences.
I mean, you
some
can't.
cold skin just like touches
Just
you?
cold, bare
Cold
skin.
Skin.
Have you guys actually hung out with a naked cat before?
Why is it called naked?
Not
All
naked,
cats
bald.
are naked.
No,
Thanks.
I find
I
that
don't know.
inappropriate.
Well, it doesn't have clothes on, so other clothes are clothes.
Yeah, we were both just hanging out naked. It was on my lap. It was really strange.
See, that starts to get strange because, I sleep naked. If my animal comes by me, whatever, it's got fur, we're like accidentally bumping into
Yeah.
each other. But it would be like bumping into someone in the gym locker room if I bumped into a cat with no fur. Like, it would just feel like, whoa,
Whoa.
that's flesh.
Yeah.
That's someone else's flesh.
You like that flesh case phone.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would feel gross after. I'm like, I'm sorry. I love you. You look great. No, you don't look great. You're
I'm
a
sorry.
hairless
I'm
cat.
just sorry. I'm gonna go in the other room. I'm gonna sleep on the couch. I'm
You're
sorry.
a hairless
Yeah.
cat. I'm out of here.
Man, so much shade towards naked cats.
It's if you're not exposed to something, I guess you just don't know, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been exposed to hairless
mean-
cats.
Would you rather have no cat or a naked cat?
No cat.
Oh God, you're gonna put
No
me on
cat.
blast right now.
No.
Yeah,
We've already decided we're not getting
I
a
think
cat
I'm-
in this apartment.
I think I'm getting into that place in my life where like I can't do pets anymore, and I love cats and dogs. I love
You
them
just
to
can't
death.
do pets anymore?
I don't think I can do because of allergies and everything. Like it was bad, and I've never experienced allergies with animals before.
Sad.
I know. I went through some mourning.
Meow.
Meow. I felt bad too because these Kush and Kuma are like so cute.
They're so cute.
So cute. But like it's funny because people on Instagram will like message me like, "Are those your cats?" And I was like, "I'm their fur uncle." But now
They're
it's
your
like
godchildren.
they are. But I feel bad because it's like the godchildren that you never visit because like I'll get allergic if I like.
Oh.
So that's the reality of it. Like I guess I can't. But your cat, like I could be around them as long as I'm just not rubbing in them. Like if I go to Lonnie's
It's so
place,
hard
I
to
just.
do. You see, I see a cat and I want to put
Yeah.
my face in its belly.
Oh my god, I miss all those things, dude. Yeah, like, and I'm still in a place where Gizmo just still like.
Oh.
It's been a few years, and I don't think I like can feel for a cat that way. Like, do you have that? Like, you've had the pet, and you
I
probably.
don't even like when you were asking me about Chewy this
Yeah.
morning or yesterday, whenever that
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Who's Chewy?
Oh
Chewy
my
was my
God.
dog that I had to put down over the holidays.
And I
last
asked the
year.
worst question. I asked the worst
He was a
question.
He was a Maltese poodle, and I had him for 10 years. He was my first and only dog I ever had by myself. I got him in the army, and he was my emotional support animal.
Oh my god.
And the first question I ask in the morning is like, "How did Chewy die?"
Just like interviewing me about it. Like, how old was he? How did he die? Oh, well, what do you think it was that did him? It was the organ or the joints that did him in? Was it the combo? That's pretty young for all that, don't you think? Just like, goddamn. And then, yeah. No. It's
Yeah,
just
very
fucking ridiculous.
logistic thinking sometimes.
logistics.
I was thinking about it because we were like seeing all these dogs and we were so I'm just like because we had a big dog before, and then now when I was younger, we had a big dog, like a husky lab, and then after now my parents have like this, what is it called, Shih Tzu or Shih Tzu or it's a
Shiatsu?
Chihuahua
No,
and
that's a massage.
maybe it's Shiatsu, Chihuahua and a
That's shiatsu.
Schnauzer.
You're thinking of shiatsu.
I think it's a Schnauzer. Anyways, they have this little one now, and like it's really cute and it's jumpy, but like I was just stuck in thinking about like longevity. What's a better dog investment? Because we were talking about
Dog
wolves.
investment.
I was in dog thinking.
We were in canine mindset.
We were in
for sure. It's not
canine
like he was
mindset,
like,
so-
hey,
Tell me
I was
about
just
getting
kinda
what about your
wolves.
dead dog? It wasn't.
Yeah. So I'm like trying to gather evidence, factual evidence from the source of dogs I know, and he had it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking empathetically about my best friend's like favorite animal.
We're talking about.
It was 5 a.m, okay?
Yeah.
But I believe that now, it's so hard because I want to be around animals. I love them, especially in a time where I don't keep like a significant other around me or someone. It's great. It would be great to have an animal, but
You should get a fish. Fish are great.
We're not getting pets. That's just something we gotta take care of, and then we gotta stop and like not do all this, and we gotta go take care of the fucking fish, and then we can't go out of town because of the
Yeah.
fucking fish.
Are you really gonna take? Is it gonna take you a day to feed a fish? Like,
It's just one more thing, one more kernel in my mind that I gotta be cognizant of.
wow.
You know what I mean? Like the snake thing's kind of cool because once a week and you're good. Mm-hmm. And even then, I don't want to commit to that.
Wow, you guys are just lazy.
No,
Sorry.
no, we're focusing on other things.
it's just.
I also don't know how to take care of myself right now. So
Yeah.
when I
No,
learn
no.
that,
But I think it is. There's like an emotional attachment to it, which
And
we've
that-
already experienced those a few times, and that hurts.
Yeah.
And then our body's rejecting them at the same time.
Oh no. Yeah. It's just the reason why I say is, I mean, like, hey, I live alone and I have so many pets. You guys have been to my house, but honestly, like you said, like you can't, like you can barely take care of yourself. Like I honestly started taking better care of myself after I started taking care of my cats and my other
You're like,
pets.
if they're eating, I should eat.
Like, no, really, it's actually like it goes like taking care of even just like a plant, a pet, something else is almost like a reflection of how you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
I just killed 50% of our plants in this apartment. Literally
So
last week.
you're dying.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, inside is decaying.
That's
My
like
heart.
you remember when you were here last week and I showed you my bonsai and I was like, so
Yeah,
like,
that, like-
oh, this is a reflection of my summer. Like my plant died because I had a dying moment and now I'm all sad about it.
It shows.
It shows the plant died. And you're right, it does take responsibility. But it wasn't like I neglected the plant. The plant just neglected me.
No,
That
you
doesn't make
neglected
sense.
yourself, and then that just carried on to the plant.
Yeah, I gave it some bad energy or bad juju or something.
I peed in it. I'm
Huh?
sorry. What?
A what?
Huh?
Wait.
It would have been fine. If I did, it would have been fine because of the nitrogen.
Wait, what?
Anyways.
All I hear is nitrogen. I'm so confused.
I just said I peed in your bonsai.
Oh,
That's fine.
Scott, again?
Again,
I'm the cat of the apartment. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
you're the
marking.
cat. of the
you guys
plant.
don't.
Dude,
You guys have a cat. No.
we don't have a cat. It was so funny because that whole dog conversation started because of this amazing video of a wolf that Scott like totally knows everything about because Scott's background is animals. And so he like deciphers the behavior of this wolf video, which is so amazing. And it's just so funny because like we were talking about like if we had a husky that we didn't know had some wolf in it, like it would display these like aggressive behaviors and it would be like pissing all over our place.
Wow.
Just eye contact.
Yeah. You know Scott's been attacked by a wolf?
Really?
True story.
Are you like part wolf now after the attack?
Yeah, but the part I'm a wolf of is just the hair. It's got hairy for some reason.
It's
Fucking
like I'm part werewolf.
not great.
That's
Yeah.
just-
Yeah. I just get a little more hair every once in a while that I need to trim, and that's about it.
That's really cool. You know what I heard? I heard that like the dog species that is closest to a wolf was actually a Shih Tzu, not a husky, not.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the closest related dog species to a wolf is a Shih Tzu, which I'm like, how?
That's all sorts of weird shit that's interrelated. I think like we're pretty close to some like like whales have old thumb bones and shit. Like you can see in
Really?
bone formations that look like a
Oh, to
goddamn
dogs,
hand.
right?
There's us, whales and us.
Oh, I thought whales to dogs.
Everything's so interrelated, but you can
Mammals.
see these cross fucking like, oh, this is so close to
Wait,
this or something. And
I mean, the
Whales just
theory
have something that looks like
isn't
a
it
hand.
like the theory is with like sea mammals is that it's like a evolution back into water. Like life evolves out of water, does its thing, and that's why you have like in water reptilian, amphibian, all that stuff, and then current living mammals now are the animals that had evolved back into water.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not like an expert in
don't wanna
this,
talk
but
about
I
it.
feel like that's why they have like the opposable thumbs, because you don't evolve opposable thumbs to get out of water. You get what I'm saying? You don't have like extra extremities to get out of water. You evolve those extremities. So if you're coming back into water, you'd be evolving those extremities out, or they'd become not as dominant or
Right,
purposeful.
you wouldn't need your thumb.
'Cause
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It's hard because back then when we're talking about divergent evolution, we're talking about things and organisms that we don't have like a concept for in our head necessarily.
I also don't think it's like one sweeping movement. I think things are going
No,
back
it's
and
not.
forth and jumping back and forth.
No, it's not, and it could be concurrent as well. Like some ancestors could have come crawling out of the ocean onto the shore, and then that line evolved, and then something came back where some could have stayed there and evolved into other things down there. I'm just not evolution.
Yeah, it's like
my
not a
standpoint.
straight, narrow
Yeah, evolution
direction
is
to
the
whatever's
whole-
going on.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. I stick to what we got right now.
That's why it's like, it's fascinating. It's fun to know all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it's exciting, like especially if you're stoned off your ass. But then it's like also, you could just keep knowing and diving into it, and what does it do for you? Like, are you at some point, like I already care about animals. The more deeper I go, it's not like I already know I'm connected to them. Like, how much more information do I need to know behind them? You know what I mean? At some point, unless it can like show some sort of behavioral benefit,
Which we'll
like
never
my
know.
interaction with animals.
Which we'll never know unless we keep
That's true.
studying,
That's
looking.
true.
What's the? I wanted to make a really good point, which I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna fucking butcher it now. But what's the what was the pomegranate inspiration? You know, like the seeds in a pomegranate organized in the Fibonacci. Is that anyone? Am I on a limb by myself?
I feel
Fibonacci numbers. What are the numbers? Da
I feel like
Vinci's?
you actually outsmarted me. This
Pomegranate.
is highbrow for me. I just know about
Help.
pomegranates, and I love how much they taste. But I feel like you're really highbrow right now.
Yeah.
Someone might know what I'm talking about. Maybe next podcast.
If you guys are
I'll
out there, yeah, let
Yeah,
Scott
yeah.
know.
I'll do a little
'cause
research.
I actually feel really stumped.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but I could be speaking out of my dick.
You could very straight to the point, just bleh. Bleh, yeah. But what are you trying to get behind? Like the set, the way they're set?
I'm getting behind
The star shape or something?
parallels of seemingly non-related organisms. So like studying something in an animal in nature gives us insight into another thing. Like a pomegranate organization gives us insight into math.
Right.
Certain math things.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
So that would be the benefit there,
Yeah.
as far as when you said that.
I get what you're saying, and I think there's more significance to studying anything on Earth
Everything.
more.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything on Earth more. This is where your philosophy totally, and I'm probably wrong, but like I have this discomfort with exploration in space, in the sense of like putting all this so forth, money, efforts, everything to go out to space further, with the intention that that's where humanity will go. And my reasoning for it, and I know the counter arguments, is just that like I wish we would be like focusing more on our planet right now and making that better and being more responsible and not thinking there's an alternative. My criticism to it is because I think like some people just find it goes back to the creativity and imagination and the fun in it, and there's no real like urgency to take care of here.
Right.
The part of it that I understand is so important is like the research that NASA has done and other scientific companies, communities, organizations have done has been important in innovative technology advancements in medicine, so on and so forth, on this planet right now, and made life better for us.
It's not always trying to get humanity to Mars,
Exactly.
or to colonize space.
Yeah, I think I just like really hate that. Let's go to Mars.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
like sustain life on Mars thing. Like I hate that right now because I feel like this planet is hurting. You know.
Yeah, because back in the 60s, it was like humanity can will this to be so. We can do this. Like we can get to the moon. And that sort of collective motivation was so inspiring. The collective motivation we need right now is not let's go get somewhere. It's like let's make sure this fucking Earth is cool. Like let's go collectively like fix the oceans and restock our fish and all that shit and stop
take all the plastic out of the water.
Yeah. So,
like it's so much easier to cut off plastic than to go to the moon. And
you would
just
think
plastic itself is like
you would think.
No, it's like really though, like even as people, like plastic is like the one thing that's really harming the earth, but then we can also easily just use other things. There's so many alternatives.
Like there's so many ways to go back to organic packaging.
I don't think it's that easy because there's cost benefits to everything else. So
well, we have a whole economy based on it.
Well, like no, but like
alternative to plastic is like glass.
Glass, paper, hemp.
The alternative, yeah.
Oh, great, but processing for hemp is not at an industrial scale that they're going to do that or make money or be efficient. And glass is going to increase the weight of shipments, which is shipping containers and cruise liners are one of the biggest causes of the fucking global warming. So now we're increasing our load, which is going to increase gas usage, which has a fucking oil industry. Now the demand goes up. Like, we're so embedded in this world we've created. There's not one easy like, hey, let's all stop using plastics, because it's not up to us. Like, we're a victim. We're where shit ends up downhill as far as causes of global warming. And we can do all we want for our own consciences, but it's the governments that are the ones that need to get their shit together.
But it's also the consumers. I mean, the consumers have to demand.
We do, but we're not.
We don't.
No,
our voice
like, if we stop paying for shit, because
we don't need to buy things. Like essentially, our whole culture needs to change with what we want.
That's a great sentiment, dude.
Yeah.
But that's not the world we live in.
No.
That's
not.
That's not the United States, right? The United States is consumers.
But I mean, like, let's say you go to like there's certain. That is so annoying.
I know.
I love motorcycles, but I hate when people do that. Let's say you go to like Bangladesh or like a Asian country. They'll start wrapping things in banana leaves again or things like that.
I love
But
that.
That's exactly why I was saying this. Is that like
that.
we could like I go to Bangladesh and we have like net bags.
Yeah.
Like all these other materials instead of plastic, and I'm like, and like over here, it's like non-plastic straws is like such a revolutionary thing
Yeah,
now. And
like,
I'm like, go to a third world country and get like no plastic bag, no nothing, like net. Like there's other like like in so many other ways we really could like.
Immigrant people know how to live a recyclable lifestyle. I'm not saying they're green at all or they are like living
But a
green.
reusable lifestyle.
But when we're
for
like
sure.
in the beginning, that minimalism, like you go into our cabinets, all our like we don't have Rubbermaids. We have old containers from like butter
Yogurt
containers,
and
yogurt,
whatever.
takeout. Yeah, right. Like we're reusing, or we'll use the plastic bag as garbage bags, or lungis or rags. Like everything is recycled, reused, whatever, because they don't have the abundance of things coming in all the time. So the mentality is there. The thing about Americans is you're right. Like you can't change the culture. You can't have people step back and be like, I don't need that straw.
Take
or,
away their dollar stores. And see what happens. They're 99 cents, Five Belows.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them, I think, within rock throwing distance from here.
Yeah.
We love our deals, man.
Yeah, like we have so much disposable plastic stuff and so many things that probably weren't even like used back in the day. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. It goes into like the demand is there for things.
Yeah.
And then they also create stuff that we don't know we want, that we end up wanting to buy, and we want those impulsive buys, which happen to be all plastic. And then this sounds great. A couple of years ago when I was working for another organization, I was doing a story on recyclable paper at the time. I was talking with someone and she was telling me because, you use fossil fuel in plastics. And since the fossil fuel industry is gearing away from automotive and transportation, they need somewhere to sell their fossil fuel and to make polyurethane and plastics and stuff like that. They're going towards that. So plastic's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's on both sides. Like, and it kind of feels weird. Doesn't it feel kind of like, yeah, us three, we're sitting here discussing it. But in the grand scheme, nothing's really changing.
No.
Yeah.
But I think that the things you were talking about, net bags, wrapping with banana leaves, stuff like that is important because if that's our habits, if that's the habits of our culture and our society, the forefront of our mind is we're doing this for a reason. It keeps the planet in the forefront of our mind, kind of like the ancestors who would live a seasonal, like, okay, here's what we can eat because of the seasons. They're so in tune with the earth. It was always on the forefront of their mind. Oh, the rainy season's coming. We need to prepare for that, blah, blah, blah. You're living in the cycle of life.
Mm-hmm.
If we've got all that stuff in the forefront, it's less of a, you know what I'm trying to say? It's less like you're living unintentionally. You're living with an intent that I'm in this world.
You're doing it with intent.
Yeah, you're doing it with intent. And yeah, you're not saving the planet yourself. But now everybody has it in the forefront. As a culture, we're like, this is important. And I think
and also like being like that is like, then think about the kids that are raised in that.
Yes.
We're gonna we're gonna have more conscious, smarter kids that are actually like gonna outlive us, and then like their kid, like, you know, like
they're
it's
shaping
gonna
the policies.
Yeah.
That are
and then
governed.
that's slowly gonna trickle up to governments, because these kids are eventually gonna be like running shit.
Well, first you vote for those kids will start voting who they want. Then some of them will run for those offices. Some will be business owners and entrepreneurs
like that's
who
like
can influence that. Some will be lobbyists. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's got to
so
start with the
like
kids.
even if it's not like changing like big things right now, but even just the little things and like how like you raise the kids in it is gonna like make, like, I see it making like crazy changes.
Yeah. Rather than a paradigm shift, it's a paradigm tide. It's slow, but it's deliberate, and it will change.
Yeah.
Kids are the future, and Wu-Tang's for the children.
Now, you know, my New Year's resolution, which really did not work out, I was trying very hard with no plastic bags. It's impossible for me to be like no plastic at all, because I buy shampoo, this, that. But then it's like, and the key was like I did it like I'm still managing it, and the key is to like just carry a backpack around wherever you go, because that's really why you need a plastic bag. And I hate that it didn't work out, but every year I always tell myself no plastic bags.
Do you want to try
I end
that
up
this
with
year, Scott? I'm totally down, because I do always have my backpack on me.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
can.
Yeah.
And I have reusable bags.
Yeah,
but
we do.
They need to be prominent. Again, back to it just needs to be in our field of vision.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind for all this.
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Because my parents are like so good about it. Like they always have them hanging in their pantry, and they always have some in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And
I used to be like that in Austin.
Yeah.
And I just got out of the habit.
Yeah. So we should definitely do that. I mean, it's like do your
it's
part.
harder in New York because like we don't have cars that we can like keep, like, you know, we do like.
But I don't mean the product placement, but because another thing I always like feel really passionate about is backpacks. Over the years, like gone through some backpacks, and I finally got this like amazing North Face one. But it's like, you know how like 36-gallon ones are too small, and the 40 plus, like 42 plus, are just so big. This one is like that 38-gallon, and you can like compress it when it's not full. And it's been the best thing I've ever had. Like it's like game changer, because I've always thought of a backpack. I love them. They're part of me. Like I have like bad history in high school where I used to like keep it on all the time, and teachers would get mad. Yeah. Like I just love backpacks. So yeah, but this one's been perfect because it is for New York. It's like the big trips and the small trips. Aww. So putting that out there. backpack. And now that police aren't stopping frisking as much, that feels really good. Yeah. Like, because I think weed's not criminalized anymore. So I actually have not got stopped and frisked in a while.
We still have the Fourth Amendment, right?
No, you don't.
Just asking. I'm asking because I don't know.
I was like, it's on paper.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
It's funny. It's just like,
we don't need to get started on illegal searches and seizures right now.
Yeah.
I think we're probably time-wise.
You're someone that like, always got greenery on you, and you never get stopped, huh?
Yeah, do I look like, I mean, yeah, to you guys,
Yeah.
you guys know I have weed, but in general.
You look like you're stoned all the time. If I looked at you, I'd be like, this girl smokes weed.
Nah, but like police don't think that. They'd rather go after someone that looks like you than me.
Fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
That's 100%
You
fair.
got feminine shield on, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some safety to being a woman in public sometimes.
Yeah, it depends. For sure.
You know, we're not the usual suspects.
Yeah. No, you guys are not the usual. So yeah, you're not offering free drugs to kids at school, so you get them hooked on them. The way Dare made it feel like someone was gonna give me free drugs, and it was never a woman.
Still waiting. Yeah, never.
No. Yeah, that's sketchy though. But I think we could connect those things like weed and psychedelics to being connected with nature. I feel like we do have so much distraction now with our economy being based on things like that we just need to keep fulfilling, entertainment, all these things like that we are kind of so separated from nature that's why we don't feel for it. We don't care about it. We're not concerned with it.
We're not even in it anymore. I mean, like, as we speak, like, nature is literally being removed.
Yeah.
Trying to come up through the concrete cracks.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why, like, when you do something like mushrooms, you have this awakening. You're brought back to, like, oh shit, like, I'm a human being. I'm connected to nature. I can feel its
heartbeat. Plants have never
heartbeat.
looked the same to me after I did shrooms for the first time. Till this day, like, the trees are always dancing.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh
even
my
like that plant in the corner over there is like, you know, like, yeah.
Me and Scott, like, yesterday we were walking and we were, like, in such a rush. Like, I feel like whenever we're together trying to get something done, like, when we're together, we're trying to get something done. So always in a rush. And, like, at one moment, we're like, we don't have to rush. And we looked at the trees. And there's this, like, Eckhart Tolle line I says, like, everything in this universe has led to this moment. The trees are here for us right now. We just basked in it, been in the moment, being in the now and everything.
The irony about that statement, and while it's so true, is we were going out to get that mic stand, and the store was closed by the time we got there.
Yeah.
So maybe there was a rush in that particular moment, but we didn't know that. We didn't know we had to go to that other store.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But it all worked out. And we got to appreciate the beautiful trees.
That's right.
And right as we're speaking about right now, I can see the light hitting those yellow leaves, and it was beautiful. And that dark black bluish sky.
Yeah.
But the twilight. Well, Jini, thank you so much.
No, thank you guys for like, this is so cool.
Are you gonna come back?
Huh?
Are you gonna come back?
You got to come
Talk to us.
back.
Yes, no,
Like, come
I
shoot
mean,
the shit one day.
yes,
just
of
for no
course.
reason?
No, I'll be around way more.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
No, this is really cool, and this is also like, I mean, you guys help me understand and talk about my work too, because it's like, you know, I don't have all the answers, and it's really more of a discussion.
Right.
So this is so lovely.
Well, I think that's what
Yeah.
you do is, like, you making your pieces of work is kind of a narrative to some aspect of our society. And you start the discussion. So it was only fitting for you to actually discuss it. So I'm happy that, you know, you were given a platform to do that, because you do amazing things. And I think that is a great opportunity for you to plug yourself a little bit and tell everybody where they can find some of your work if they want to, because you do have some amazing pieces.
No, thank you. Yeah.
No,
No, most of my work is on Instagram.
Yeah.
Follow me, Art of Jini. And all my work, like, it's donation based, so if anyone wants anything, just name your price.
Is there a
It's-
possible future where we can have a piece of yours in our?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I told Addie, I was like, do we need to get a piece of Jeannie's in?
Yeah, we
Like,
need
for
some
sure.
of your work up in
course, let
here.
me-
Represent
No,
the
yeah.
dicks for
Which-
sure. Like,
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah.
do I care?
Yeah, we represent dicks.
Yeah.
We represent
No,
everything
yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm all about accessible art, so like, really,
Yeah.
it's not like some exclusive thing. Like,
Yeah.
like, whatever you want, however much you can pay. Like, the only requirement is just take care of it. Don't, like, you know, if you can't, like, keep a painting around, don't throw it
It's
away.
not be like
Oh.
plants. We're not gonna kill it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Or a pet.
I won't.
You know,
I don't
feed it,
have
water
to water
it.
this. Yeah.
Is there any way you could possibly make Addie and I into dicks? Like, personify the dick into.
You guys want to be dicks?
I have a dick.
Yeah, but like,
Wait, what are we
if
asking?
you, could you, could you can you recreate this, but like we're dicks sitting
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Maybe can you do a podcast
dick
pic?
podcast.
I'm just
Monkey
saying.
brain.
I'm throwing inspiration at you. You do whatever you want with it. I'm just
No obligation.
no obligation.
Whenever you feel creative.
I don't mind shopping what you already got, if that's the thing. But I'm just saying, I've never seen myself as a penis before.
Yeah.
Penis with a beard.
Penis. Oh my god.
It's like a Taliban dick.
A Taliban dick. And yours would have like a giant mane, like hair.
It all has hair. It's
This is my follicle foreskin.
yeah. Pubic hair and beard hair? There's a relationship.
All right, I'm sorry. I
Totally went
we need to
sidetracked.
get back out of here. Anyways, yes. Thank you for coming. We want your art around here.
Yeah, thank you for having
Art of
me.
Jini on Instagram.
I'll be back and I'll bring some dicks. Yeah.
Thank you for taking us on a journey to Saudi Arabia. What brought you to California? Your art journey and a lot of phallic fables.
And don't forget the Meowism too.
Oh yeah, Meowism.
If you haven't accepted cats into your heart, please do.
Oh wait, please accept cats.
Think of
into
your furry salvation.
Yes.
For yourself. If you see a cat, meow at it.
Really.
Really.
All right.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. That wraps up another podcast with the Monkey Brain.
Yay! For Addie and Jini, I'm Scott. Kwanzaa dudes.